Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and pardon me. We all know that the Second Amendment protects and guarantees our right to keep and bear arms. And the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives plays an important part in combating crime and protecting public safety. The director of the ATF should be an individual who is capable of pursuing this mission while maintaining a nonpartisan atmosphere within the organization and protecting the rights of law-abiding citizens. Now, that is the mission. Based on what we've all heard from Mr. Chipman in his testimony, based on what we've read and reviewed statements that he has made, he is showing himself incapable of meeting that mission and doing so in a nonpartisan and even-handed way. What we would expect from anyone that we appoint. Now, there are roughly 15.5 million Americans that hold hunting licenses. Nearly 20 million Americans have a concealed carry permit. I am one of those that has a concealed carry permit.
Don't mess with Marsha.
Roughly 4 in 10 Americans report having a registered firearm in their residence, and nearly every major study has found that firearms are used in self-defense between 500,000 and 3 million times each and every year. That is the right of American citizens. Mr. Chipman has demonstrated through his testimony that he will neither respect nor protect the right to bear arms. There are 16 states, 30% of our nation, that allow citizens to openly carry their guns. And you've just heard about his Reddit Ask Me Anything interview. He stated there that open carry is frightening, and he thinks this is a fear we should avoid. Tennessee is a constitutional carry state. Mr. Chipman made clear in his testimony last month that he wants to ban the future manufacturing and sale of, and I'm quoting him, assault weapons. But he has demonstrated that he has an alarming misunderstanding of what an assault weapon actually is. I asked him if he referred to common semi-automatic rifles as assault weapons, and he affirmed, yes, he did. His definition, as Senator Cotton put it so aptly, would effectively ban all sporting rifles in the United States. But we know Mr. Chipman is no fool. Mr. Chipman has an agenda. It would be abridging our Second Amendment rights. It would be banning semi-automatic rifles and sporting rifles for those 15.5 million Americans that have a hunting license. He has a decorated history with the anti-gun lobby. As has been referenced, he has lobbied for Everytown for gun safety and was a senior policy advisor at the Giffords campaign. He has lobbied against high-capacity guns, but has defined a high-capacity gun as anything that holds more than 10 bullets at a time. He has advocated overturning the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, which would leave gun manufacturers liable for what purchasers do with their guns. I want you to think about that. It would make the gun manufacturers liable for what purchasers do with their gun. The logic falls apart when you apply it elsewhere. We do not hold auto manufacturers liable when drivers cause pileups. Most of the U.S. drives to and from work every day. Can you imagine what would happen if we suddenly applied this type logic to the actions of every single driver in this country? The logic with respect to guns is no different, but Mr. Chipman is far too partisan to see that. Again, He is no fool. He does have an agenda. And in 2017, he co-authored a blog for Giffords calling for 50 cal rifles to be regulated under the National Firearms Act. In other words, Mr. Chipman is willing to lie to push his anti-gun agenda. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives deserves a better leader. Americans deserve a better leader. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.